Hi, Grover Robinson here at the EOC on Wednesday, and we're updating you as to what the status is here in Escambia County. In Escambia County so far, we've decided to remove all evacuations will be lifted at 4 p.m. this afternoon. It appears that by then the worst of the storm will be past us, and then we will be lifting the evacuations. To go along with that, we will also be closing the shelters at 5 p.m. All of those except the equestrian shelter will continue to be open for those horses that are being housed there. But we will be closing the shelters at 5 p.m. We will begin, for what we know now, for the individuals we're speaking for that we know now. We know Escambia County, we will be going back to normal operations on Thursday, and we also have been told by both the city and ECUA that they will start garbage pickup tomorrow because the county will be resuming regular operations of the landfill. So these are things that are happening. We are also beginning to work at this point. John Dosh is about to come on and he will update you as to the status of the storm and where we are. But we have several sister counties to the east of us that are looking to sustain significant impact through the storm, and we are beginning to transition Escambia County to see how we can respond to those as soon as the storm has gone past. We will continue to keep updated on all things that are going on, and any issues that happened out there. Please call and let us know. Thank you. Several of you have called in and told us if there were traffic signals out or and so forth. We continue to appreciate that, and we try to respond to those as fast as we can. Just please continue to communicate with us here, and we will try to communicate with citizens as well. We certainly thank you for taking the time to watch us, and we will continue to update you. John, do you want to step forward and at least tell us where we are? Again, evacuations will be lifted at 4 p.m. and the shelters will be closing at 5.
Good day to everybody. Very fortunate situations. The Hurricane Michael actually is continuing to move as forecast. The outer extents of tropical storm force winds that we had anticipated didn't make too much of an impact on our community. We are seeing some rise in the waters along the coastlines, some storm surge, but for the most part have not seen the extent of winds that were forecasted. So we're very pleased with that. And with that, as the commissioner just mentioned, we will be shifting gears here a little bit and allowing people, lifting the evacuation orders and allow people to go home from the shelters as a result of that. So we are postured to begin ramping up and providing potential assistance to our neighbors to the east of us that are going to be impacted by the storm. It hasn't made landfall yet. It's still scheduled to do that somewhere around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Seems to be the time frame that everybody's focusing on. Certainly thoughts and prayers to all those folks over there, and hopefully everything works out well, but it does not look good because it's a just tremendously strong storm, and it has the potential for providing a lot of damage and certainly a threat to life and property. So we just keep everybody in thoughts and prayers for that, and we'll continue supporting the Operations Center here through today, through the shelter closings and through the lifting of the evacuation orders, and hopefully if you have any questions, as I said, just go ahead and give us a holler at our Citizens Information Center, the 471-6600, and we should be able to assist you through that.
So John, have we seen the worst of the storm surge yet, or is there more to come?
I believe we have seen the worst of it. At this point, the storm is actually, from an angle perspective, it's moving away from us. It's moving now into that northeast direction, which is pulling all that away from us. For the most part, we're going into low tide right now, so we will see a little bit of a drop this afternoon. We'll see some of it rise back up later on this evening as we start going into high tide. But for the most part, it shouldn't be as high as we saw it this morning or earlier today.
How about the winds? Are we going to see an increase in the winds? Is this as bad as it's going to get?
I don't anticipate that we'll see an increase in the winds. We may have a squall line or two that comes through that throws out a bunch of gusty weather real quick, but I don't see anything that will be impacting us from a sustained standpoint. We've been watching the bridges very closely, and up to this point we haven't seen sustained winds at the bridges that would have caused closures, so we're still monitoring those closely and working with the local law enforcement. Should something come up where we have to close them, it should be for a short period of time, hopefully. But at this point, I'm not anticipating huge amounts of wind to be a problem throughout the rest of this day from this storm.
How about flash flooding conditions? Is that something that we can expect?
I'm not anticipating that either. The rainfall totals that we were being provided from the storm was less than 1.5 inches that's through Friday. So I don't anticipate us having any problems with any flash flood issues. Certainly we've always got to be precautious about anything, but I'm not anticipating that from this storm.
And we always get a lot of questions about tornadoes. That's always a huge concern. Is that something that we're going to see potentially with this storm?
There's always a possibility of tornadoes. Typically the right front quadrant is the one that produces the majority of those tornadoes. Not saying that we couldn't see something on our side, but something we need to pay attention to and monitor the local media. If you got to know the NOAA weather radio, keep that running, or one of the many, many weather apps that are out there that provide us with that instantaneous warning is a good thing to probably have up and running.
How accurate was the National Weather Service's forecast of this storm?
Well, once they got a bead on the storm itself, you got to realize when all this started, everything started as a result of computer models seeing a low pressure system develop. And a lot of discussion was occurring as a result of that. And until the low actually formed and they had something to investigate, it was all over the map. But once that low formed and the computer models got their teeth into that thing, this has been a pretty accurate forecast if you look at it. It really has. So, like I say, they keep doing better and better every year, and we're really pleased with what we've seen this year with this event.
And again, what time can we expect the conditions to clear up for our area?
We should be seeing that in between the 4 and 5 o'clock hour, and that's why we're closing the shelters and allowing people to return home for those that evacuated.
And again, for Escambia County, what can our employees and our residents expect for offices, for the county offices?
Normal operations for tomorrow. Like I say, we'll open up tomorrow morning and begin operations as normal and throughout the day. And it sounds to me like the trash collection is going to be maintained as and they'll start picking up any small debris that may have occurred. So if you have any questions, contact your local trash provider or whatever.
Okay. All right. I know that the commissioner has some things he'd like to add. So
Sure, come on.
I just wanted to say, on the shelters, we did get calls, and we appreciate those of you that called in regarding food. And I will say that lunch is out there, is being provided. As soon as we were communicated that, Escambia County has stepped in and worked with SMG to work to get that done. So appreciate individuals who've contacted us as well. And again, yes, garbage collections will be moving forward, and the Escambia County landfill will be open. All offices open tomorrow, regular hours for Escambia County BCC.